Hello friends, and welcome to the ninth lecture of the series of feedback amplifiers. Today we are going to discuss in detail about the steps which we had discussed in the previous lecture to analyze the different topologies, and we are going to cover all the topologies which are related to the feedback amplifier. So let's begin our discussion. So outline of today's lecture is to discuss the numericals involved in the different topologies of voltage series, current shunt and voltage shunt, and then we'll discuss about the outcomes and the questions which we are going to discuss through the slides that are already the part of the today's lecture. Before I begin the discussion, I would like to request you people all to please subscribe this channel so that I can make more knowledgeable and beautiful videos for you. And the only aim which I'm having behind making these videos is to share the knowledge which can help you to build the basics of electronics engineering. And currently we are in the series of feedback amplifiers, and more topics of electronics and telecommunication circuitry and the devices and all those will be covered in the future. So please be part of this journey. Let's discuss the steps which we had already discussed in the previous lecture, that is lecture number 8. So if you are coming to lecture number 9 without watching the lecture number 8, please go through the lecture number 8 and then come to the lecture number 9 so that you can understand it in better manner. Just to revise, we will first identify the topology, then we will draw the input and output circuitry, and then we will find the A and beta. When I'm saying A, that is the open loop gain. It can be AV, it can be GM, it can be RM, or it can be AI. So depending upon the topology, we need to first find out the A and then find out the beta, and by the knowledge of A and beta we will calculate the D, and then by the knowledge of D we will calculate the AF, RIF, ROF and so on. So let's begin the discussion. This is the circuitry which is given to me, and this is how the question goes. We need to calculate the values of AVF, RIN and ROF, and what is given: RS equal to 0, HFE and HI value is given, HRE and HO equal to 0, and when HRE and HO equal to 0 we have to go for the simplified model, that is the approximate analysis. This is the hidden part which is given in the question. And the transistors are identical, so mean Q1 and Q2 share the same characteristics. So the first step is to identify the topology. How we can identify the topology? By making this voltage equal to 0. So if I make this voltage, output voltage equal to 0, will there be any feedback present in the circuit? Let us discuss what is the feedback part. R1 and R2 are making the feedback part, which is nothing but they are helping the output circuitry to be connected with the input circuitry through this path. So R1 and R2 are nothing but the feedback network, okay, the pure resistive feedback network. So if I make V0 equal to 0 or output node as short circuited, can there be any flow of current in the input circuitry? No, it is not possible. Okay, so definitely the sampling is voltage sampling. Why? Because by making VO equals to 0, we see that VF also becomes 0. So when you find this kind of circuitry, then you straight away come to the conclusion that this is the voltage sampling. Okay, and now if you carefully look at the circuit, R1 and R2 indirectly connects the output with the input. There is no direct connection between this input terminal and this output terminal in terms of the feedback. So when there is indirect connection, the mixing is going to be series mixing. If you do not get this logic, you can also apply the second logic. The input circuitry is connected in series with the feedback circuitry. So feedback is in series with the input voltage supply, that is the Vs. So by both these logics we can come to the conclusion that mixing is in the series form. Okay, so what kind of topology this is? This is voltage series topology. And if you have identified the topology, the next task is to begin with the discussion of how we can form the input and output circuitry, and we can analyze the transistor in detail or the amplifier in detail. Now if I look at the input and output circuitry, and if I identified that the configuration is voltage series configuration, then in the voltage series configuration, if the sampling is in the form of the voltage, I will have to make the input circuitry by making V0 equals to 0, and I will have to make the output circuitry by making II, that is the input loop, open. So this circuitry which I have already drawn for you is based on the same logic that I just told you. What the logic is, I have to make VO equals to 0 to determine the input circuitry, and I have to make II equals to 0 to just determine the II equals to 0. This is II equals to 0 to determine the output circuit. So let us go in the previous circuit and we can see how we can do this. If I make this VO equal to 0, if I short circuit this, R1 and R2 comes in parallel. Are you getting this? R1 and R2 comes in parallel if I short circuited the output node, and R1 and R2 can appear in the input circuitry like this. So R1 and R2 comes into parallel and it is in the Q1 side. Okay, and now for getting the output circuitry, I have to make II equals to 0. So II equals to 0 means I have to open this loop. So if I will open this loop, there is no flow of current here. So R1 and R2 in that sense comes into the series and appear at the output side. So this is how we deal with the loading effect of beta network. So I have considered R1 and R2 both at the input side and the output side. From where this is the R1 and R2 which comes in series and which appears at the output side. Okay, from where we have got this logic, V not equal to 0 and II equals to 0. This step is already been discussed in the previous lecture. If you have any doubt, go through the previous lecture and note down these steps, that how in which configuration we have to apply VO equals to 0 and II equals to 0 to find out the input and output circuit. Now rest is just the analysis of the amplifier. Now come to this previous circuitry. If I have to form the AC equivalent circuit of this particular amplifier, then what I can do, I will make this DC biasing equal to 0. I will make every capacitor connected over here as short circuited. So if I short circuit this capacitor, there is no effect of these resistances. Okay, and then likewise I can determine this diagram. So what is RL1 dash and how this diagram is formed, you can again go in the previous slide. So this is the 10K resistance, this is the 47K resistance, and this is the 30K resistance. All will become in parallel to find out the load resistance of the Q1. And similarly, if you talk about the load resistance of Q2, this is the only resistance which is present over here, that is 4.7K, which comes in parallel with the series combination of R1 and R2. So this is how we can determine RL1 dash and RL dash 2. Okay, so let us start the analysis. So we are following the approximate analysis because HRE and HO equal to 0, and we will first calculate the AV, as I already told you in the steps. So what is AV here? AV is nothing but AV1 multiplied by AV2, because we have two amplifiers over here, two transistors over here. So we need to determine AV1 and AV2, and then we can multiply to find out the final gain. So what is AV1? AV1 is V1 upon Vi, and AV2 is V0 upon V1. How we can determine this? This is VO, output voltage, and this is the intermediate voltage I have considered here, that is V1. So if I want to calculate the gain of Q2, it has to be VO upon V1. Getting? And if I want to calculate the gain of this Q1, it has to be V1 upon Vi. So likewise, I have written over here, AV1 is nothing but V1 upon Vi, and AV2 is nothing but VO upon V1. And as I already told you, RL1 dash we can calculate by the parallel combination of 10K, 47K, 30K, and one more resistance, that is the input impedance of this particular transistor, that is the HIE. So HIE is also in parallel with all these resistances. Which resistances? 10K, 47K, and 30K is in parallel with the input impedance of this particular transistor. So likewise, we can determine the RL1 dash, which comes out to be 942 ohms, and RL2 dash is nothing but the RC2. The RC2 is in parallel with the series combination of R1 and R2. So it comes out to be 2.37K. And we can also determine the RE for transistor Q1. And what is RE for transistor Q1? This is RE. This is RE. Why I am calling it as RE? Because it is present at the emitter leg of the transistor Q1. So R1 and R2 in parallel. So R1 and R2 in parallel comes out to be as 98 ohms or 0.098 kilo ohms. For approximate analysis, we know that how we can determine the logics to calculate the gain. So in approximate analysis, AV1 can be calculated as minus HFE into whatever load that is present upon the input impedance. So input impedance is nothing but the HIE. Okay, so here if there was no resistances present, then we can directly calculate the numerical by writing the value of HIE. But this is not the case. Here we are having two resistances R1 and R2 present in the emitter leg of the transistor. So this is the case of RE. So whenever there is a case of RE, we have to apply this formula, HIE plus 1 plus HFE into RE. This is very well known in low frequency analysis of the transistors. Okay, so just by putting the numerical values which has been given in the problem, you can determine the value of the AV1. That is nothing but the minus 7.72. Now this is the AV2. AV2 is VO upon V1, and again the same formula, minus HFE into RL1 dash upon HIE. And here we have determined the value of 50 minus 50 into 2.37 upon 1.1 equals to minus 108. Okay, so just a mistake is there. This is RL2 dash, not RL1 dash, because we are talking about the second stage of the amplifier. So from here we can determine the value of AV2, and here I have taken only the value of HIE because there was no resistance present over here. So we had not applied any kind of analysis with RE. So now this circuitry gives me the value of AV as AV1 multiplied by AV2, and we can calculate the 834 gain of the value. And now we are interested about calculating the value of the beta. So how we can calculate the value of the beta? Let us go through this particular slide. This is the feedback factor which is present over here. So we are interested upon calculation of VF in terms of V naught. This is nothing but the voltage division. We are interested to calculate VF in terms of V naught. So how we can determine that? Just by applying the voltage division rule. So if I am interested to calculate VF, I will have to make this V naught multiplied by this R1 upon combination of R1 and R2. That is which has been done here. So beta is nothing but VF upon V naught, and this is R1 upon R1 plus R2. And likewise we can calculate the value of the beta. So once we determine the A and beta, we can determine the D by putting the numerical values, and once we determine D, we can calculate the AVF, we can calculate the RIF. This RIF equals to RI into D, or ROF equals to RO upon D. This calculations has already been done in the previous lecture. You have to go through the previous lecture to determine what are the different values of Ri and Ro while calculating the different topologies. Okay. Now here comes the RIF, Ri into D. So from where this Ri is calculated? Ri is calculated from here, this particular formula, and then you have to just apply the formula and get the numerical values of RIF. And ROF is nothing but RO dash upon D. RO dash is nothing but the RL2 dash upon D. RL2 dash we have already calculated here. You have to just apply the formula and numerical value, and you will get the answer. This is how we have completed this particular topology, that is the voltage series topology. Now come to this second problem. This is the circuitry which is given. What kind of circuitry is this? This is the common emitter circuit with RE. Okay, why I am calling it as a common emitter circuit? Because we are getting the output from this collector circuit. So if you are getting this output from collector circuit, which terminal is left to be connected to the ground? That is the emitter terminal. This is the common emitter configuration, but RE is present. So what RE is acting here? RE is acting here to supply the feedback. But again, we have to be sure about which kind of circuitry this is, whether it is current shunt, voltage series, or current series. As I've already told you, just by looking at the question you cannot determine that. So what we will do again? We will make VO equals to 0 to see what kind of circuitry is this. So if I make VO equals to 0, will there be any change in the circuitry in terms of feedback? No, there will not be any change, because we are taking the output from the collector terminal and we are providing the feedback at the emitter side. So by making V naught equal to 0, VF is not going to be 0. So this is not voltage sampling. This is obviously current sampling. Obviously it is the current sampling. Now again, is there any connection between this output terminal and the input terminal in terms of the feedback? No, there is no direct connection. This RE is indirectly connected with the VS, or we can say this RE is in series with the VS. So again, the sampling is done in the form of series. So sampling is done in the form of the series, and what kind of sampling? Mixing is done in the form of the series. Mixing is done in the form of the series, and sampling is done in the form of the current. So what kind of topology this is? This is the current series topology. So once we determine that this is the current series topology, we will follow the steps accordingly. I mean the calculation of AI or and so on. Not AI, I mean the calculation of the gain, and then the RA and RO calculation. Okay, so what is the next step? Next step is to determine the input and output circuitry. How we can determine the input and output circuitry? So since this is the current sampling, now I have to apply, instead of voltage equal to 0, I will apply I naught equal to 0. Okay, and this is series mixing, so again I will apply II equal to 0. These are the two things which I have to apply. So these are the two things, I naught equals to 0 and II equals to 0. For which circuitry I will make I naught equal to 0? To find out the input circuitry, and to find out the output circuitry I will make II equals to 0. Okay, so if you make I naught equal to 0, this I naught equal to 0, this RE comes in series with this at the input side, and if we make II equal to 0, II, this input loop open, this RE also comes in series with the output side. So RE is present at the input as well and in the output as well. I would suggest you to go through the previous lecture where I had discussed about the source follower circuit, that is the emitter follower circuit, that is the common collector circuit. There we had discussed about the VF and V naught present at the same resistance, that is the RE, and there we had not considered RE at the both side. RE was present at the output circuitry only and not at the input circuitry. Okay, so go through the previous lecture and compare that emitter follower circuit with this current circuit in order to get the more clarity. So here the RE is going to be present at the input circuitry as well and at the output circuitry as well, like we have drawn over here. The RE is present over here also, and this RE is present over here also, and this VF is present across the. So it is just the matter of the analysis now. Once we determine the input and output circuitry, this is the transistor. This is the transistor representation of the hybrid model of the transistor, HIE and HFE into IV. So if I am only representing HIE and HFE, I am going for the approximate analysis because I am not interested to calculate the HIE and HOE value. Okay. So what is I naught here? I naught can be determined. I naught is nothing but HFE into IB. HFE into IB is flowing across the RL. So I naught is nothing but HFE into IB. And since HFE IB is opposing the direction of the I naught, I have included the minus sign over here. How we can determine the GM? What is the logic to determine that? Sampling is current and mixing in the series form. So output upon input. Output is current and input is done in the series form. Series means mixing. Mixing in series means mixing in the voltage form. So current upon voltage, it gives me the transconductance, discussed many a times earlier also. So I naught upon VI. So what is VI here? VI is nothing but VS. So I naught upon VS, and what VS? We can determine the VS from applying the KVL. So I naught upon VS. So I naught is nothing but minus HFE into IB, and VS is nothing but the KVL IB into RS plus HIE plus RE. So IB gets cancelled out and I will get the value of the GM. So I have determined the value of the open loop gain, that is GM in this case. And once we determine the value of the GM, we can determine the value of the GMF also by determining the value of the beta. So just go through this analysis. Beta. So we are getting the feedback VF because we are mixing in the series. Okay, so if we are mixing in the series, the form will be in the voltage. And since we are sampling the current, so VF on I naught. We know that what is VF. Let us go back. What is VF? VF is nothing but this is the I naught which is flowing across RE. I can also write it in terms of HFE into IB, but why am I preferring the value of I naught? Because we are interested to sample the output current. So I have to write the formula in terms of the output current only. Okay, so I naught is entering towards from the minus terminal of the potential. So minus I naught into RE over here. So I naught gets cancelled. And this is the value of the beta. So how we can determine the D? D is nothing but 1 plus GM into beta. 1 plus GM into beta. What is beta? Beta is RE. What is GM? GM we have already calculated over here. Just put this value in this particular formula and you will get this D. Okay, so once you determine the D, you can also determine the value of GMF. GMF is nothing but GM upon D. Every feedback value is nothing but the open loop gain upon the desensitivity factor. So if you are calculating AVF, it is AV upon D. If you are calculating GMF, it is GM upon D. If you are calculating RMF, it is RM upon D. If you are calculating AIF, that is AI upon D. So all you need to calculate the open loop gain of the different configuration and the desensitivity D. By the help of both this component, you can calculate the feedback value. So we have determined the feedback value over here. You need to just you need to calculate GM upon D. D is here and GM in the previous slide, and you will get the value of the GMF. Likewise, you can calculate the value of RIF, RI into D. So what is RI? RI is the all the resistances present in the input terminal. So all these resistances are present at the input terminal. So you can determine the RI, and RIF is nothing but RI into D. Okay, and since this is the common emitter transistor and we are using the simplified model, RO is equals to infinity. You can go back to the approximate analysis and see RO equals to infinity is there already. And ROF is nothing but RO into D, so ROF we cannot determine because RO is infinity, then ROF is also going to be infinity. So ROF dash we can calculate. ROF dash is nothing but RL in parallel with RF. This is RL, this is RL, and this is R. So RL and ROF we can if we make it in parallel, we will get the value of the RL, and that is the value of nothing but the RF dash. So this is how we have discussed about the current series topology. Let us discuss this particular circuit and what is given in the question. Again, the question says that we have to calculate the value of AVF, RIF and resistances input and output seen by the voltage source and the output resistance. And what we have been given, we have been given the value of the RC1, RC2, RE, and R dash and RS equals to 1.2K, HFE and HI, and again this question says that the value of HRE and HO equal to 0, and then again we have to follow the approximate analysis. Now, as I said in the previous two cases, our first aim is to determine which configuration this circuit belongs to. Okay, so, and I already told you in the previous two cases as well, just by looking the question you cannot determine it, because the question might get confusion in your mind. Just by reading the question you can predict that we are having the current voltage series topology or voltage amplifier because AVF is given. This is not the case. Okay, you have to calculate the topology every time once you come across the circuit. So let us start the calculation. Now in this case, where is the cursor? Now in this case, if I make V naught equal to 0, let us see what is going to happen. If we make V naught equal to 0, is there any effect on the feedback path? Where is the feedback path? This RS R dash is connecting me to this out to this Q2 with this input of Q1. Okay, and this is IF which has already been given. So this is the feedback path which is connecting me over here. So if I make V naught equal to 0, is there any effect on the current, feedback current? Is there any effect? No. Why? Because I am taking the output from this terminal and I am taking the feedback from this terminal, the lower part of the transistor that is here. So if I make V naught equal to 0, that is not going to affect the feedback from here to here. So what kind of sampling is this? This is the again current sampling. So what we have determined, this is the current sampling circuit. If V naught equal to 0 gives me the logic that there is no feedback present, feedback also vanishes, then that is the voltage sampling. That was the first case. But in the previous case and this case also, if I make V naught equal to 0, that is not going to affect my feedback network. So this is again the current sampling. Now I have to see whether the mixing is done in the form of the series or mixing is done in the form of the shunt. And how we can determine? By looking the feedback network. Now look at the feedback network R dash. R dash directly connects me the Q2 with the input of Q1. So when there is a direct connection, what kind of sampling, what kind of mixing is there? The mixing is done in the form of the shunt. Okay, and even if you don't get this logic, just to see the input source, that is the VS, is not in series with the R dash. You can easily determine. This is in the parallel connection of VS and the feedback network which is coming across here. So by both these logics, you can say that the mixing is done in the form of the shunt. So what configuration is this? This is the current shunt topology, current shunt configuration, because sampling is in the form of the current and mixing is done in the form of the shunt. Now again we have to find out the input and output circuitry. So if the current sampling is there, what we are going to do, I will make I naught equal to 0. Let us make I naught equals to 0 to find out the input circuitry. So if we make I naught equal to 0, I mean if I am opening the output loop, so this R, what is going to happen, this R dash, and with the, we cannot forget about the RE. So if I open this particular loop, that is the output loop, RE comes in series with R dash, like this. RE comes in series with R dash. Again, now to find out the output circuitry, I have to make, what I have to make, this is going to be the shunt mixing, and when we mix in the shunt, we mix in the form of the current. So I cannot make the II equal to 0 this time. In previous two cases, we had considered the case of the series mixing. So when there is series mixing, the input loop, that is II equal to 0, we consider. But now since it is the shunt mixing, we are going to consider the input node voltage, that is Vi equals to 0. So I have to make input node as short circuited. So if I make input node as short circuited, this R dash and this RE, what kind of connection will they be sharing? They will be sharing the connection of parallel. So this parallel connection will come at the output circuitry. RE is in parallel with R dash. I hope you are getting the logic of determining the sampling as well as mixing, and you are also getting how the different connection has been drawn. Okay, so just to repeat what we have done to find out the input circuitry. We had made I naught equal to 0. If I make I naught equal to 0, we are opening this loop. We are opening this loop, R dash comes in series with RE, because we have opened this loop. This is formed first, this is formed, R dash in with RE, and then what we had done, we had made the Vi equals to 0, because this is shunt mixing. So we had made Vi equal to 0, unlike the previous two cases where we were making II equal to 0. So now we have made Vi equal to 0 to find out the output circuitry. And when we make input node as short circuited, this R dash and RE comes in parallel at the output circuit. Okay, so this is how we have drawn this particular simplified circuit. Now again, when it comes to analysis, we will first calculate the now where we get this AI. Since this is current shunt configuration, so sampling is in form of the current output, and shunt means the voltage, sorry, shunt means the current. So current upon current will give me the logic of AI. Shunt mixing is nothing but mixing in form of the current. So current upon current is nothing but the value of the AI. AI is nothing but the open loop gain of the transistor. And once we calculate the open loop gain, as we have calculated the AV and GM, and then we had calculated AVF and GMF, now we will calculate the AI first, and by the knowledge of AI we can calculate the AIF. Okay, and then since the question asked me to calculate the AVF here, so now once I get to calculate the IF, then I will obtain the AVF from the value of AIF. So this is the trick over here. So as I already said, you can just not read the question and come to the conclusion that this particular circuitry belongs to that particular configuration. So you need to analyze which configuration it belongs to, and then you can come to the conclusion. Okay, so what is AI over here? AI is nothing but this output current upon this source current for me. So there are different stages involved. So how to break these stages? Just be careful while understanding this logic. This I naught is nothing but IC2, and IC2 and I naught are in the opposite direction. So we can also write minus IC2 upon IS. So if I break this analysis, what is IC2 upon IS? IC2 upon IS is nothing but IC2 upon IB2, and then IB2 upon IC1, and then IC1 upon IB1, and then IB1 upon IS. So this is how we can calculate the logic. So we have to break this into 4 parts, and then we can get the value of the overall the gain, which is nothing but AI. Okay, and minus IC2 upon IB2 already I have given the reason, because I0 and IC2 are in the opposite direction. Again, I have used IB2 upon IC1 here in the minus sign, with the minus sign, because IC1 is flowing with the RC1 and IB2 is entering to the Q2 terminal. So IB2 and IC1 are not in the same direction, though it seems from the slide that it is in the same direction, but it is not the case. IB2 and IC1 are in the opposing direction, so we have to use the minus sign over there also. So just to begin, what I have taken the same logic which we had discussed in the previous slide. Let me be clear with here that what IC2 upon IB2 gives me. What IC2 upon IB2 gives me? This logic, IC2 upon IB2 written over here first. This is nothing but AI2. This is nothing but AI2. Why? Because this is the directly related to the input and output terminal of Q2. So if I determine IC2 upon IB2, I am directly determining the gain of the Q2. And what about the AI1 then? AI1 is nothing but IC1 upon IB1. So this third logic. So this is IC1 upon IB1. So this is AI1. Okay, let me write this is AI1. So in this equation, two things are clear, that first component is giving me the value of the AI2, and third is the giving me the value of the AI1. And since we are following the approximate analysis, why we are following the approximate analysis? Because it is already given that HRE and HO equal to 0. So when we are following the approximate analysis, the current gain can be directly written as the value of the minus HFE. So AI2 and AI1 is directly equals to what value? It is nothing but the minus 50. HFE is given as 50 here. And now we are interested to calculate these two components, IB2 upon IC1 and IB1 upon IS. Okay, so we are interested to calculate IB2 upon IC1 and IB1 upon IS by the current division rule. How? We will see when we go through the steps. But before that, we have to determine the RI. We have seen that AI is going to be same, but RI cannot be same because of the presence of RE and R dash at the second stage here. RE and R dash is present over here at the second stage, but there is no resistance present at the emitter leg of the Q1 here. So RI will never be going to be same. So what is RI2 then? Second stage input impedance of the second stage. It is nothing but HIE plus 1 plus HFE into RE dash. And what is RE dash? RE dash is nothing but the parallel combination of RE and R dash. This is the parallel combination, RE and R dash. So if I calculate the parallel combination of RE and R dash, I will calculate the value of the RE dash. So once RE dash is calculated, you can determine the value of the RI2. So this is how we have determined the value of the RI2. And what is RI1 here? Since there was no resistance present at the emitter leg of the Q1, so we can say that RI1 is directly equal to HIE equals to 1.1K. From where this analysis we have got from the simplified model. So RI2 and RI1 we have determined, as I already told you, that this particular components we are determined by value of the by applying the current division rule. So how we can apply the current division rule? Just go through this formula. What is IB2? IB2 is nothing but IC1 multiplied by RC1 upon RC1 upon RI2. Just look at here. We are interested to calculate IB2 upon IC1. So this is IB2, this is IB2, and this is IC1. So IB2 in terms of IC1. So source current is IC1. And we know that in current division rule, the opposite resistance is preferred. So which is the opposite resistance? So here is the RC1, this is the first resistance, and we cannot forget that the second resistance is present over here, that is the RI2. So Ri2 is the resistance in which Ib2 is flowing. So which is the opposite resistance then? The opposite resistance is then Rc1. So if I want to calculate Ib2, I have to multiply this source current Ic1 to the opposite resistance Rc1 multiplied by divided by the combination of the resistances Rc1 upon Rc1 plus Ri2. That is what it is done over here. So Ic1 is multiplied by Rc1 and Rc1 plus Ri2 is at the denominator side. And likewise, if I put this Ic1 here, I can calculate the value of the Ib2 upon Ic1, and that comes out to be just, I have put down the value of Rc1 and Ri2, and I can get the value of this particular component. Likewise, I have also to calculate the value of the Ib1 upon Is. So Ib1 upon Is, how we can calculate? By the same current division rule. Let us go back. This is Ib1 and this is Is. Now source current is Is, and where this Ib1 is flowing, Ib1 is flowing across the Ri1. Okay, so what are the opposite resistances over here? The opposite resistances over here is nothing but the parallel combination of Rs with R dash plus Re. So these are the opposite resistances. Now again, so Ib1 is nothing but Is into R upon R plus Hie. What is R? R is the parallel combination of these particular resistances. So we have determined over here. R is nothing but Rs dash in parallel with R dash plus Re. So this is R. R is nothing but 0.61. And Hie, it is nothing but Ri1, as we have written over here. Yes, this. Okay, so Ib1 upon Is is nothing but 0.61 upon 0.61 plus 1.1. From this formula we come to this. Okay, so this is the value of the Ib1 upon Is. So we have determined the value of Ai1, Ai2, Ib2 upon Ic1 and Ib1 upon Is. So we can just calculate the values by just multiplying, because there are different stages. We are getting the value of the Ai, and we know that Aif is nothing but Ai upon D. So we have already calculated the value of Ai. Now we are interested to calculate the value of D, and since it is the current shunt topology, D is nothing but 1 plus Ai beta. So we are interested to calculate the value of the beta now. What is beta? Beta is If upon I naught. Why If? Because we are sampling the current. Why? Because we are sampling the current and we are mixing in the shunt form. So since we are sampling the current, this I naught is there, and since we are mixing in the shunt form, this If is there. So If upon I naught we need to calculate. From where we can calculate If upon I naught? From the output terminal. This is the I naught, and this is the feedback element which is present over here. So if I am interested to calculate I naught, If upon I naught, I have to multiply I naught with the opposite resistance. So which is the opposite resistance over here? That is the Re. Re upon R dash plus Re. So If upon I naught is nothing but Re upon R dash plus Re. So you can go through the analysis of R dash. What is analysis of R dash? This is R dash. So feedback is flowing across here only, na? Just be sure. R dash is the terminal. R dash is the resistance which is having the feedback current. So this is the opposite resistance. So I naught multiplied by Re upon R dash plus Re. So just we have written over here like this. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the value of the beta, and by the value of the beta you can calculate the value of the AIF as well, just putting the value of the data in the formula, and likewise we can determine the value of the AVF. Now we have calculated the AIF, but the question says we have to calculate the AVF. So from where we can calculate the AVF? By having the value of V naught upon Vs. So where is the V naught? V naught is present over here across the RC2. So RC2 gives me the value of V naught by just multiplying the current IC2 upon RC2, IC2 into RC2. So IC2 and RC2 upon what is Vs? Is into Rs. Okay, so what is this? This IC2 upon Is we have already calculated. This is nothing but AIF. So you might get confused that we have written the AI as IC2 upon IS, and now we are calling it as AIF. So do not get confused because here we are talking about the open loop gain, and we have written IC2 upon IS, and since we are interested to calculate AVF, I have to take this value as AIF also. Okay, so AIF multiplied by RC2 upon RS. So by the knowledge of these values, we can calculate the value of AVF. And again, the RIS equals to RI upon D. As I already told you, go through the previous lecture, go through the comparison of the topologies in which we had discussed where I have to divide the desensitivity D and where I had to multiply the desensitivity D. Just by having the knowledge, you can only determine whether we have to go for the division or we have to go for the multiplication. So RIF here is RI upon D by the virtue of the current shunt topology. And what is RI? RI is nothing but the parallel combination of R and RI1. So this is R. What is R? R is the combination of RS, R dash plus R. Here we have calculated R. This is R. R is nothing but 0.61, and 0.61 is parallel with the RI1. RI1 is nothing but HIE. Okay, so RI is nothing but the parallel combination of R with RI1. So it is 0.61 in parallel with 1.1, which comes out to me as RI equals to 0.394 kilo ohms. So RIF is nothing but 0.394 upon 17.4. 17.4 is nothing but the value of the D. So put the value of AI and beta like this. This is D. This comes out to be as 17.4, and value of the RIF is nothing but 22.6 ohms. Now again, RO is equals to infinity. Again, this is a common emitter configuration, and ROF is nothing but the, again it goes to infinity as well, so we can calculate the ROF dash as we have done in the previous case as well. It comes out to be the parallel combination of RO and RC2 here. Here is the RC2. RC2 is here. So RC2 is in parallel with the output impedance RO, and RO is infinity. Infinity is in parallel with RC2. It comes out to be the value of the RC2 only, and RC2 is given in the question as 0.5 kilo ohms. So eventually we have got the value of the ROF dash. So this is how we can analyze the current shunt topology. Okay. Now final thing, the final circuitry which we are going to discuss in today's lecture is this. So again, we need to calculate the which kind of configuration it belongs to. Just make the V naught equal to 0. So if I make V naught equal to 0, will there be any feedback present? Not possible, because V naught is directly connected with the input terminal through this R dash. So if we make V naught equal to 0, there is no feedback which can be present. So this V naught also makes Vf equal to 0. So what kind of sampling is this? This is the voltage sampling, as it was done in the first case, first circuit. Okay, in the previous two circuits, that is this circuit number 2 and circuit number 3, we were looking at the current sampling. Now this again is the similar to the first case, that is the voltage sampling. Now see, since the output and input terminal is connected through this R dash directly, this is going to be shunt mixing. Or if you don't get this logic, now see how VS and this feedback is, connected. Is it in the form of the series? No, it is in the form of the parallel. That is nothing but the shunt. So what kind of configuration this is? This is the voltage shunt configuration. And again, this is the voltage shunt configuration. This is voltage which is at the output side, and shunt means it is at the mixing. Mixing is done at the input side, and since it is shunt, it is going to be in the current form. So V upon I is nothing but R. So we are calculating the RM and RMF over here. So this is nothing but the example of trans resistance amplifier. Okay, so first circuitry which we had discussed today, what was the voltage series, that is nothing but the voltage amplifier. Second, we discussed current series, that was nothing but the transconductance amplifier. We had calculated the GM. third we discussed today, it was nothing but the current shunt amplifier, that was nothing but the current amplifier AI, and we had calculated AIF. Okay, and the final circuit which is written over here, which is given over here, it is nothing but the voltage shunt topology, and voltage shunt topology is nothing but trans resistance amplifier. Now this is given, we have to calculate AVF, RIF and ROF dash. As I already told you, we have to again calculate the AVF. So again you might get confused that this is the voltage series amplifier or the voltage amplifier. So as I have discussed over the different question, that do not come to the conclusion just by reading the question. Analyze the question, analyze the topology, and then come to the conclusion which kind of analysis is going to be adopted. And here RC, R dash and different values are given, and again we have to follow the approximate analysis because HRE and HO equals to 0. Now again I have to draw the input and output circuitry, and since this is voltage sampling, I will have now to make VO equals to 0 to find out the input circuit. So if we make VO equals to 0, this R dash comes in parallel with RS. Is there any doubt? If I make VO equals to 0, this is floating, this is the shorted, and then R dash comes in parallel with RS. The loading effect of the beta network. This is the beta network because R dash is serving me the feedback network, serving for me as the feedback network, and whatever feedback is present across R dash only. So the loading effect of R dash will have to be considered at input and output terminal both. So what it comes out to me, if I make V0 equal to 0, since it is the voltage sampling, the R dash comes in parallel with RS. This is R dash which comes in parallel with RS. Okay, and what about the output circuitry? Since it is the shunt mixing, I have to make VI equals to 0. So I have to again short the input node, since it is the shunt mixing. So if I short the input node, R dash comes in parallel with RC also, the output load, that is the load resistance. So here when we make VO equals to 0, and if we make VI equals to 0, the same R dash is present in the input and output circuitry in the parallel form. And this R dash is holding me the value of the feedback current, which is IF. Since it is shunt mixing, I have to say it as IF. Now what is RM? As we already come to the conclusion that we are going to analyze the trans resistance amplifier, RM is nothing but V0 upon IS. What is V0? V0 is nothing but here I0 multiplied by RC dash. Why RC dash? Because RC is in parallel with this R dash. So we have to determine this RC dash. Here is the RC dash, RC in parallel with R dash, which comes out to be as 3.64 kilo ohms. Now what is IF here? HFE into IB, where the HFE into IB formula is calculated from the hybrid parameters. So HFE into IB is in multiplied by RC dash upon IS. Now we are knowing the value of the HFE, we are knowing the value of the IS, but are we knowing the value of IB upon IS here? Because unless and until we know the value of the IB upon IS, we cannot calculate the value of the RM. So we have to calculate the IB upon IS here. Where is the IB? IB is flowing across this terminal. This is the IB, and this is the IS. Again we have to apply the current division rule as we have done in the previous case. So if I apply the current division rule, what is the opposite resistance? I have to draw the RI here. This is the opposite resistance. This is the resistance from which this IB will be flowing. So RI can be also written as HIE. Why I can write it as HIE? Because there is no emitter resistance present over here. So Ri is nothing but HIE. So Ri or HI is the impedance from which or through which this IB is flowing. And what are the opposite resistance? Opposite resistances are nothing but the combination of RS and R dash. So we have determined the combination of RS and R dash in terms of the new constant R, and it comes out to me as the 8 kilo ohm resistance. So if I am interested to calculate the IB, the source resistance IS is multiplied with the opposite resistance R upon the parallel combination of R and HIE, and then we can calculate the value of the IB upon IS. So just I have replaced the IB upon IS over here in this particular equation, and this comes out to be as the value of the RM. So now I know the value of the HFE, now I know the value of the R, RC dash, R and HIE, and by the knowledge of this we can calculate the value of the RM. And once we calculate the value of the RM, we can calculate the value of the RMF, but we know we have to calculate the value of the beta first. So beta is nothing but IF upon V naught. So IF is there. What is V naught? V naught is nothing but the IF is opposing the I naught, so I have to consider it the minus sign. IF multiplied by the RC dash. We have considered RC dash first. No need to explain me the second time. So IF gets cancelled out here, so we can get the value of the beta. So by value of the RM and beta we can calculate the value of the D, that is nothing but the 45. Now with the value of the D we can calculate the value of the RMF. RMF is nothing but RM upon D. RM is minus 160 and D is 45, so we can calculate the value of the RMF from here. AVF, again we had calculated AVF in the previous case as well by the value of the AI. So AVF here is the V naught upon Vs. So V naught upon Vs, Vs is nothing but Is into Rs. So Is into Rs, and here it is the V naught. So I do not have to tell you that what is V naught upon Is here. Go to the previous slide. V naught upon Is is nothing but Rm, and since we are interested to calculate the AVF, so I have to write it as RMF. So RMF is, we have already calculated, minus 3.55, and now RS is 10. So this is nothing but the value of the AVF. If you remember, AVF is nothing but the same AVS which we calculate in low frequency analysis. AVS, V naught upon Vs with the source voltage. RIF is nothing but Ri upon D for the voltage shunt topology. So Ri I have to calculate. Ri is nothing but the parallel combination of R and HIE. So I have to make the R and HIE. This is R. This is R, the combination of RS plus. We have already calculated RS, so 8 kilo ohms. Okay, so it has to be in the parallel with 1.1 kilo ohm resistance. That is the nothing but the input impedance of first stage of the amplifier, HIE. And this comes out to be as Ri. So if I have calculated the Ri, I can calculate the RIF from this formula. Ri upon D, which comes out to be as 0.0214 kilo ohms, which is very less. We can say it as a 21 ohms also. ROF is RO upon D. Now what is RO? RO is nothing but R dash here. Why we are taking it as R dash? Because the feedback is flowing from here. So R dash RO is nothing but 40k. So 40 upon 45 is nothing but ROF, the value 0.890 kilo ohms or 890 ohms you can say. So now the value of the ROF, you can calculate the value of the ROF dash as well. ROF dash is nothing but ROF in parallel with RC. So this value we have got here is nothing but the 0.728 kilo ohms. So this is how we have completed all the topologies, and we have seen that how we can analyze the different feedback amplifiers. We learned the steps to identify the different topologies, and we have already discussed the adjustments also. Only one suggestion: whenever you are analyzing the feedback amplifiers, you have to be very clear with the mixing and sampling logic. If you are not clear with the mixing and sampling logic, you cannot determine the transistor you are analyzing, and if you do not determine the transistor you are analyzing, you cannot determine whether the input or output impedance is going to be increased or decreased. So whether you are having the formula of Ri upon D or Ri into D, RO upon D or RO into D. So this is very important. First you have to go through the lecture of basic amplifier analysis, lecture number 1 and lecture number 2, where we have discussed about the mixing and sampling. And then from lecture number 3 to lecture number 6 we had discussed in detail that how we can calculate the RIF ROF calculation of different topologies. And on the basis of first 6 lectures I had given you the discussion of impact of negative feedback in lecture number 7, and lecture number 8 and 9 we had discussed in detail about the numericals. So likewise, you have to go through the lectures, and you can analyze the feedback amplifier in depth. So this is all as far as the feedback amplifier is concerned, because this is enough for the graduate level analysis. And I will try to make the video on some important questions and some important analysis with respect to GATE and IES questions. But for a university point of view, for university exam point of view, we can say that the discussion on the feedback amplifier is over. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe this channel. Thank you.